Popcorn?
Butter.
Nachos?
Butter.
Root beer with red licorice straw?
Butter.
Edgy reboots are basically a plague at this point.
Was Devil May Cry not good enough? Well, the natural progression, of course, is to make Dante a meth head. Bionic Commando on NES? Needs more wife arm.
Weirdly enough, though, the people to pull the Edgy reboot band-aid on Scooby Doo, it wasn't Warner Brothers, it was a group of fans. We're talking about Mystery Inc., which is a fan series where the character designs aren't surprising. And before you ask, yes, it is inspired by Riverdale. At the moment, they only have the pilot episode out right now, so, I need a Halloween video. Let's watch the pilot.
We open on a monologue from who I assume to be none other than our boy toy Fred. Scooby's just a dog. He's just straight up dog. We then go to Fred, and just from this shot here, you can tell not only what kind of character he's gonna be, but also what kind of show this is gonna be.
Let me tell you, I do not mind.
He goes downstairs to see what all the fuss is about, and wait a goddamn minute. Is that YouTube play button? Why is that necessary? But yeah, some demon killed his parents or something, I don't know. 21 Pilots. Hard cut to a shot of a mansion with some pop music playing. You know what that means? It means it's Daphne. Please, keep up. She's doing what every rich girl does. Getting reprimanded by her mom because she just wants some French toast.
Daphne, sweetheart, that's nothing but fat and carbs.
No. The real problem is that it's French.
Next we have the introduction for everyone's multiverse's main, Shaggy. Now, there's a 50-50 chance here that they'll either make Scooby talk because it's accurate to the source material, or they'll remove it because, that's not realistic. And so far, he doesn't talk. Not even a peep. But at least they included his iconic catchphrase.
I'm doing it, Dad. Zoinks, you don't have to baby me.
If they didn't make him say that, I would take them to court. But so far from these two introductions, we get to see that everyone has parent issues. Here's some punk. You couldn't have at least made it ska punk? We get another scene with Fred, and assuming the scene takes place after the opening, then that's the best way to cope with the death of your parents. If it's before, then the point still stands. Some jocks come in and make a gay joke.
Turns out Jones can handle more than just balls.
First of all, they're not wrong, second of all, stop being a bigot.
What the hell's going on in here? Nothing, Coach.
Fred feels the most out of character here. Next up is Velma, everyone's other multiverse's main.
Jinkies.
She lives in a library for some reason, and her mom keeps doing a bunch of culty shit. The lawyer shows up.
What are you doing, detective? What are you doing talking to my client without me present? Ah, here we go. Public masturbation. I don't get it. What's the kick? Why don't you do it at home like the rest of us with a big flat screen TV, 50 channels of pay-per-view, in a Starbucks? That's nice.
It's this tool. Now Fred has two options. Either live in the house on his own because he's old enough, or live with his aunt and uncle.
I'd say just, live on your own, have a party, invite some people, invite a dude who's buying a crossbow, make flyers that look like dicks. Now this is what people running for office should do. Putting your poster over your rival's poster, it's better than whatever they were doing last year.
Now, what's an edgy reboot without a love triangle? That's right, pointless. So Daphne is dating the bully guy while Fred has a crush on her. Also, Shaggy is doing an underground rave because... good question.
How many times do I have to tell you, if you wear a yellow shirt with your Letterman jacket, you look like Ronald McDonald? It's embarrassing.
Just one slice of cheese and extra pickles. Yeah, I don't like that shit.
He hates her.
Now we get to see our first meeting between two of the characters.
Come to gawk at the newly minted orphan?
No, I would never.
That is what you're doing, though. Yeah, Velma is your typical quirko girl, aka autistic. Now in this scene here, you'll notice that there are random skips in Velma's dialogue. This is a subtle reference to me skipping through this part.
That's why you're in here researching demons?
Let it go, Dinkley.
It had red eyes, didn't it?
Five Nights at Freddy's.
Second interaction we see is Shaggy handing a flyer to Fred.
There was never any scientific proof or evidence that she saw anything. Grief fueled a hallucination that caused her to see a demon for closure.
Even though this was inspired by Riverdale, I think that specific line was inspired by a different CW show.
People will believe anything if it leads to an explanation. But not me. Facts don't lie, Fred.
Facts don't care about your feelings? Is that what you're trying to say? Of course, every single one of these shows needs an announcement from the principal, and this is the most charismatic principal I've ever heard.
wish my principal was like that. The only thing those two have in common is the hairstyle.
Which means it's time to announce what you've all been waiting for, our homecoming court. Blake Bellows?
Thank God.
Okay.
What, like you're surprised? This next scene becomes much more bearable when you put Ace Attorney music over it.
A little ahead of ourselves, aren't we?
Ophelia.
Daphne. Such a shame I'll have to humiliate you in front of the entire school when I win. What will Mommy and Daddy think? I think I'll quite enjoy it.
Baseball montage. The coach talks to Fred and warns him that he's gonna lose his job if Fred keeps picking fights with Seth.
I love Scooby Doo.
But the question still stands. Does Shaggy smoke weed? I don't know, but he deals it.
We just wanted to make sure you, bring some refreshments with you. And, bring something strong. I'm feeling crazy.
That sounds like something Jared Leto's Joker would say. Fred and Velma meet at the place, and she tells it how it is.
Or isn't.
And in subsequent weeks, claims to be contacted by a prehistoric pterodactyl demon. He says this demon convinces him to go on his own crime spree in order to cleanse the earth.
Can we get a show about that guy instead?
So a little game theory I have is that these reports are going to set up for the ghost that the gang will go after in subsequent seasons. She gives Fred a textbook with a very detailed photo of the demon who happens to look identical to the one Fred saw. His name is Asmodeus Ozymandias.
A good argument examines both sides of the issue, right?
Tell that to Twitter. Now, of course, what better time is it than for Shaggy to buy some drugs?
What can I do for you, Shaggy? Fizzle rocks, jingle jangle?
Maybe some grizzle grangle. Or some purple pample. Or meth.
This guy here gives Shaggy some stuff called Joy Juice.
I'm calling it right now, it won't be shit.
When Shaggy gives them the drugs, he says,
It's time to go straight.
Conversion therapy, huh? Shaggy gets booped.
Achievers were late. I don't need another thing for Ophelia to hold over my head.
I wouldn't worry about that, my love. That problem's already being taken care of.
We currently have 6 hitmen on site. Okay, but if you want what's actually happening, then the hitmen are the guys who bully Shaggy, and the hit is planting the silly syrup on her, I don't know. Velma and Fred meet up at a bookstore that Velma's mom owns or something. Fred finds a book with a bunch of Latin in it that Velma says is for summoning a demon. Fred is insistent that Velma uses a summon.
Yeah, you know, just summon Let Me Solo her and you'll be fine.
Num quid cure quente, et non abscondam.
Ja nisam luda, znam daje zamenio, te brohive. Znal sam daje 1216.
Riditis autem mimini.
Con quien estás hablando en este momento?
Where I facium nocte giba.
Hey. Jump scare warning.
What's that?
Minecraft.
So the obvious progression is that the ghost is gonna show up at the party or something. Shaggy is still talking to Scoob about stuff.
What happened to all that hardwired police training?
Oh, he's that kind of dog.
Right as Shaggy's about to go, watch out, they're behind you. Okay, never mind, you're safe.
Excuse me. Who are you?
This, ladies and gentlemen, is what I like to call an Avengers moment.
We go back to Fred and Velma, and Fred has this to say.
He looked like a miner.
Alright, so to defeat him, all you have to do is groom him.
Velma says that according to the book, they opened the portal.
You just had to open a portal, didn't you?
You have started the reconstruction of the 13 pillars.
I'm sure whoever built those pillars put a lot of hard work into it, so remember to say thank you to our heroes.
It says here that a scout will be sent ahead that knows only darkness and hard work.
Is she making this up as she goes along?
If the text is to be believed, and if the miner is the scout, then we've opened a portal to hell.
Fred just looks mildly annoyed at this information.
Ugh, really? A portal to hell?
They realize that if they're gonna find this guy, then they have to go to the nightclub because something about him finding the light.
everybody. We're the Hex Girls.
Your last album was mid.
I'm gonna cast a spell on you.
No!
Daphne sees Thing 1 and Thing 2 trying to plant the silly syrup on the other chick and decides to interfere. And before you ask, yes, she does pussy out.
It was full of calories.
Is she also a ghost? Velma and Fred show up at the party looking for the ghost. Velma starts rambling on about the plan, while Fred's only takeaway is that she used a dumb name he came up with. Velma stumbles upon the lighting setup that the Hex Girls use and decides to mess with it. Stupid bitch doesn't know how to use a computer? Look guys, it's the Dream Fan!
Get it? Minor? Also, I think this is just what happens when you watch Dream.
Everyone at the party seems to be terrified of this dude, but the Hex Girls are like, wait, I have a funny joke, 1 sec. Velma starts lowering the lights to weaken it or something. Once everyone is out, it's Fred's turn to go all out on him.
When you watch Scooby Doo, do you think of the fight scenes? Because that's what the creators of this think of.
The miner breaks his bat and has the upper hand, so Velma needs to act quick and read the proper Latin. Another change worth pointing out, the ghosts are actual ghosts. You know what Scooby Doo is known for? The ghosts just being people in disguise? I mean, hey, the Scoob movie did the same thing, so I don't think Warner cares either. In fact, with what's going on with them, I don't think they care about anything but getting a new CEO. Yeah, Velma sends them back to hell, meanwhile Daphne was just watching the whole time, I guess. Cut to the next day where the girls are discussing rumors on what it was. Meanwhile, these extras are laughing at a really funny video. Said funny video was Daphne getting sploshed. Police are trying to find out what happened.
Shaggy presents. Who's Shaggy?
Ooh, Shaggy is like the Heisenberg of this universe.
Instead, placing blame on this mysterious Shaggy.
Take that as a yes.
Also, despite the show trying to be more realistic in its depiction of these characters, Shaggy still makes sandwiches that a human can't possibly eat.
He must have like a really big jaw. And heart disease.
So by the end of this pilot, the gang hasn't been fully formed. It's just Fred and Velma, but we can still see that there will be focus on Shaggy and Daphne. But there is some foreshadowing at the end of this episode. We have Velma's mom calling someone on the phone who says this.
It doesn't matter now. The pillars have awakened. It has begun.
That's not all. Shaggy walks in on something he shouldn't see. Okay, so Velma already did the whole sealing thing. They just released him again to seal him out of pettiness, I guess. But we're not done yet. The episode should have ended with this, but instead it ends with...
What the hell?
And that's the end of episode 1. Currently there's an Indiegogo for episode 2, so you should go ahead and donate to it. In fact, I'm gonna do it right now. Did I just donate to the IRS?